Let's please pause for a moment of silent meditation. And as we pause, please also take a moment of remembrance for Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, or as I like to call her, the notorious RBG. She was Justice Ginsburg was had an extraordinary life and was a pioneer for women's rights and equal justice for all Americans. She excelled in the legal profession and time when there was not many women lawyers at all. She was a staunch advocate for equal pay for women and was the second woman ever to serve on the Supreme Court. She was an inspiration to all women and young girls. Her service and contributions to this country will never be forgotten. I hope everyone will keep Justice Ginsburg and her family in their thoughts and prayers. Thank you. Councilman Jones, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Why'd you do that?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the
United States of America,
to the
and to the
republic
republic for which it stands,
under God,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wait, I have that.
Introduce your flag holder.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
this is Izzy. I was wondering if I could have a moment of councilmanic privilege to wish members of the Jewish faith in Baltimore County a happy Rosh Hashanah and a meaningful Yom Kippur, and also to thank the Baltimore County Police Department for their added security around Jewish facilities during these high holidays.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you very much. No, that means a lot to families.
Thank you.
Councilman Jones, are you still there? Did you want to introduce your granddaughter? Your flag holder?
Yes, Madam Chair. Carter. Once she finished her duty, she was out of here. Come here.
She looked like
Hello.
she was herself. You did a wonderful
Say hello
job.
again.
Hi.
Hi, you did a wonderful job. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Now you got to be quiet for the next 2 hours. Zip it.
When am I going somewhere?
Yeah, okay, good.
But now my papa, he's saying.
Got that right. I have to work.
Yep, she's a cutie. Is there a motion to approve the journal for the meeting of September 8th, 2020?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The journal is approved. Let's move on to enrollment of bills. Bill 74-20, 75-20, 76-20, and 78-20 were passed by the council, signed by the executive, and are hereby enrolled. Mr. Secretary, will you now read all bills for introduction?
Yes, Madam Chair. Bill 97-20, permits, approvals, and inspections, event permits. Bill 98-20, current expense budget, Maryland Recovery, net client support services. Bill 99-20 is sponsored by Councilwoman Bevins, parking of commercial vehicles. Bill 100-20, Mr. Marks, sponsored by Mr. Marks, design review areas.
Okay, thank you. And there are no bills for final reading and voting this evening.
Correct, Madam Chair.
The council will now consider all fiscal matters. Extensive testimony was taken at the council's work session on September 25th, 2020. The witnesses who testified at the work session are available to restate their testimony if needed. If a council member has any questions regarding a particular fiscal matter, that item will be discussed as a separate matter. I will now call upon the secretary to read the cover letter for fiscal matter 1 through 6.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I just want to say something quickly that on behalf of the constituents of the 7th District, we do appreciate the administration's work on probably five of the 6 or 7 fiscal matters concern the 7th district, and we appreciate all the work that has gone into making each of those fiscal matters and those contracts come to fruition. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. Fiscal Matter 1 is a contract with Robbins, Geller, Rudman, and Dowd LLP for legal services. Fiscal Matter 2 is a contract with Gordon Feinblatt LLC for legal services. Fiscal Matter 3 is a contract with Safety Tank of Maryland Incorporated. Fiscal Matter 4 is a contract with Heritage Crystal Clean LLC. Fiscal Matter 5 is a contract with Almost Just Like Home Incorporated, doing business as Mayfield House. And Fiscal Matter 6 is an agreement with Trade Point Atlantic LLC related to a feasibility agreement.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions for matters 1 through 6? Okay, hearing none. Is there a motion to approve fiscal matters 1 through 6?
So move.
Second.
Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on fiscal matters 1 through 6, please.
Yes, Madam Chair. Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Katz?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Fiscal matters 1 through 6 are approved. Thank you. We will now consider miscellaneous business. Mr. Secretary, first item.
Yes, Madam Chair. Whenever a contract over $25,000 is awarded by a process other than formal competitive bid, it is required that a copy of that contract be given to the County Council and the nature and parties be announced by the Secretary at the next legislative session following the award of the contract. This evening, there are 12 such contracts as follows. The first is with C&D Municipal Sales Incorporated. Total of $25,719. This is for wear rings for pumps at the Orams Road Station. Next is Dickinson, $56,719.60. Testing kits related to COVID-19. Next is Edward G. Rahill and Sons. Actually, it's Rahl. Edward G. Rahl and Sons Incorporated. For boxed produce related to COVID-19, $44,400. Next is ANSI ASQ National Accreditation Board LLC for police forensics, $74,670. Next is Kaplan Brothers Incorporated Glass and Glazing Services for the BCDC, $59,939.25. Next is Smith's Detection Incorporated, X-ray scanner service agreement, $39,412. Next is Gray Shift LLC, Gray Key iPhone unlock device and annual license with the police department, $36,900. Next is governmentjobs.com Incorporated, doing business as NeoGov for software recruiting system through HR and OIT, $250,000. Next is Maryland State Fair and Agricultural Society Incorporated for security and custodial services at the fairgrounds related to COVID-19 testing, $30,464. Next is Edward G. Rahl and Sons for produce, boxed produce related to COVID-19, $38,400. Edward G. Rahl and Sons, again, Incorporated for boxed produce, COVID-19, $36,000. And finally, McKesson Medical Surgical Government Solutions, LLC, for coverall, hooded, size large, COVID-19 related, $26,349.60.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item, please.
Next is Resolution 81-20. This is a resolution sponsored by Councilman Quirk to authorize the property tax refund to Mr. Edward Frank Craner, who as a disabled veteran is entitled to a refund under state law.
I'll move it.
Second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 81-20.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka.
Aye.
81-20 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is Resolution 89-20. This is sponsored by Councilman Marks, and this resolution authorizes the property tax refund to Mr. Andre Jones, who, as a disabled veteran, is entitled to a refund under state law.
It's my honor to move it.
I'll second.
Second.
Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 89-20.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk.
Aye.
Resolution 89-20 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Resolution 91-20, modification, approval of payment in lieu of taxes agreement with Lion Homes 3 Preservation LLC.
Okay, and we have Mr. Pete Gutwall testifying this evening.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the council. Resolution 9120 is a modification of resolutions passed in January of 2020, which modified the payment in lieu of taxes for Lion Homes Preservation, changing the number of units from 36 units to 30 units. All the other parts of the agreement stay intact. These modifications were necessary to accommodate current residents with incomes over the 60% threshold to avoid displacement.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from Mr. Gutwall?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Councilman.
I would just like to say, I lumped the resolutions for Lions Homes, I lumped them into the fiscal matters incorrectly, where I expressed my appreciation for the administration's work on this. These resolutions for Lion Homes are part of my thankfulness towards the administration for their work on this. I was mistaken in lumping them in with fiscal matters.
Okay, no problem. Would you like to make a motion to approve Resolution 91-20?
I'll move it.
Okay.
I'll
Is there-
Second.
Okay, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 91-20.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Marks.
Oh, I already voted yes. Aye.
Okay.
Me, Tom Quirk, aye.
Oh, give us.
Sorry about that.
Okay, we got everybody, right, Mr. Bosworth?
And we got Mr. Marks twice, so we're good.
Resolution 91-20 is passed. Thank you, Mr. Gutwald. Have a good night.
Got more.
Oh, you do? You know, I did that for the work session too. Are you still celebrating your birthday? Are you one of those guys that do it for the whole month?
Yes, it is.
I think this is the good one, Madam Chair.
I'm one of those people too. Yeah.
My
Is
birthday's on Thursday.
it a special birthday?
Really?
No, 3 years from that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah.
Okay, resolution, this is 93-20, right?
92.
92-20, okay. Go ahead, Pete, I'm sorry.
Okay, yes. Mr. Secretary, are you did you already say these? I'm confused. All right.
No,
sorry.
no, I haven't read 9220 yet. Yeah, you're right. Modification, approval of loan agreement for Lion Homes 3 Preservation LLC.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Madam Chair, members of the council. This is a companion resolution to 9120, which modifies the home or home investment partnership program parts of the agreements with Lion Homes for changing the number from 36 to 30. Again, these are modifications were necessary to accommodate the current residents and with incomes over 60% of the threshold.
Very good. Are there
I'll move it.
any questions or comments?
Second.
Sorry, Madam Chair.
That's okay. Okay, no comments or questions. Would you like to move that, Mr. Councilman?
I'll move it and I'll move on the next one in advance if possible.
We allowed to do that? Okay, we're,
I don't know how that, I don't know how that works.
You have-
These are all together.
They're messing us up, Tom. We had our
They
keyboard
regard
all
the
together.
community, they regard the community of Lions Home and Turner Station, and I'm happy to move the motions as quickly as I can.
okay, so we got a motion for 9220. I'll second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on resolution 92-20.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Marks.
Aye.
Okay, resolution 92-20 is passed. We have one more with Mr. Go. Go ahead, Mr. Foster.
Yes, Madam Chair. Resolution 9320 is similar to the other two. It's a modification for approval of the payment in lieu of taxes or pilot agreement with Lion Homes, in this case, Lion Homes 2 Preservation LLC.
Are there any questions or comments? I believe Councilman Crandall already moved it in advance.
To be official, I'll move it.
Okay, I'll second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on resolution 93-20.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka.
Aye.
Very good. Resolution 93-20 is passed. Next item. Don't go anywhere, Pete.
All right, next is Resolution 94-20. This is a resolution put forth by the administration and also co-sponsored by Councilman Catch, Maryland Agricultural Land Preservation Foundation, or MALF easements. And there are 15, I believe.
And they're all in District 3 and a couple in 2.
I believe so, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor to this bill. And Mr. Secretary?
Yes, sir.
Okay, are there any questions or comments?
I wish to move the bill.
Second?
Chair, Madam Chair,
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I intend to, Madam Chair, this is Councilman Marks. I intend to support this. And I think this is a wonderful program. My only comment would be that I hope that in future years, we will take a look at all of the important areas that deserve protection throughout the county. But I commend Districts 2 and 3 for getting even more beautiful, right, Izzy?
Yes, you got it. And just want to say, Pete, great work here again. Planning Department rocks.
Thank you.
Councilman Marks, I share your sentiment. And yes, I'll leave it at that. So is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on resolution 94-20.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
Resolution 94-20 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item.
Next is Resolution 95-20. This is sponsored by Council members Crandall and Marks, establishing the Baltimore County Recreation and Parks Foundation Work Group.
Okay, is there a motion to move?
There is an amendment,
I'm
I
sorry.
believe, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Mr. Crandall, do you wish to speak about it, or would you like me to?
No, Mr. Bostwick, please talk about the amendment.
Okay. The amendment, as you might recall at the work session last week, Mr. Crandall discussed amending the resolution to make it more of an internal review at the moment, at least, where the administration would take the lead, and perhaps more specifically, the Department of Recreation and Parks and the Office of Law would look at the feasibility and the potential steps necessary to creating a a Recreation and Parks Foundation similar to the existing police, library, and education foundations. This amendment would basically do just that. It would not create a work group, an external work group per se, but it would instead request that the administration, through those two entities, do the work that the work group was going to do to some degree, but do it kind of internally and see where that goes, and then make recommendations in May of 21.
Thank you, Mr. Bosto. I think that characterizes the amendments, and I just want to thank the administration and the Director of Rec and Parks for taking part in the conversation. The amendments are driven by really the experience of Director Johnson and her experience in helping to set up these types of organizations in past lives that she's lived in public service. So I'm going to move the amendment to the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Secretary, call the roll on the amendment to to Resolution 95-20.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
The amendment to Resolution 95-20 has passed.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Councilman.
Yeah, it's Wade. I just want to make a point with this particular resolution and foundation. Just to, in our district, District 3, we have groups that have raised a lot of money for our schools to benefit students who need the help. And the Education Foundation has told them that if they're going to run the money through the Education Foundation, they would charge them a 10% fee. And now I've been able to get involved and eliminate that 10% fee, but Councilman Crandall, hopefully this will eliminate any chance that groups that raise money for this purpose are going to have to pay a fee to give this money to Rec and Parks.
Madam Chairman.
Yes, Councilman.
Councilman, I'm not aware of those fees involved in donations from the Education Foundation to whomever those donations are going. But I will say this resolution is a first step in establishing the necessary due diligence to form a foundation that can work in concert with the Baltimore County Recreation Department of Recreation and Parks, and be able to provide, in my vision anyway, corporate philanthropy to rec councils and booster clubs and maybe other organizations in a legal, transparent, and charitable way that benefits all of those, not just young people, which are the most important probably, but all of us who utilize our parks, the millions of people that visit Baltimore County parks throughout one fiscal year, as well as our recreation programs, other educational programs that Rec and Parks and our rec councils are part of. So I'm hoping that by charging the county law office and the Director of Rec and Parks office to begin the due diligence and advise us on what the appropriate steps are to get this thing up and running in a lasting and meaningful way, that we'll create something here that Baltimore County needs and that Baltimore County does not have, and hopefully takes out the red tape that is involved in maybe some of our other older organizations. So thank you for the question. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I totally support what you're doing. I just want to make sure that we are not going to have charitable groups or corporations charged a fee for donating, like happens with the education system. So
Well,
I think it's a great idea.
Well, thank you, and I think that by going about this methodically, and the resolution asks for a report back to the county executive and the county council by May 21st on recommendations on how we move forward with forming this foundation. I think that we have the opportunity until spring as a council and council members individually and rec council presidents and citizens have the opportunity to provide their input on how this thing eventually becomes a viable entity. And I think that my advice to you, since you have this experience and you know this, is provide input to the director in the law office on your concerns on this, because I think they're going to be open as they go through this process over the next few months. They're going to be open to suggestion and concerns and questions and all that. So I think your point's relevant. And again, I appreciate it. I appreciate your support of the resolution.
Thank you for your initiative. Yeah.
Okay, so the amendment passes. Is there a motion to approve 95-20 as amended?
So moved.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I just wanted to make a comment. Director Johnson is very excited. This is something that she shared with us, interviewing for the job actually. But to be clear with the Education Foundation, which is a separate operating entity from us, there is administrative costs associated, or are administrative costs associated with what they do. Likewise, there'll be costs to administer the foundation as well, that clearly we have to take into consideration what those costs are going to be. Now, I'm not familiar with how the Education Foundation came up with their infrastructure and what the costs, but there are costs associated with administering the foundation. There are indeed. There filing fees or all kinds of things, but what that percentage is, but what Director Johnson will indeed present is an operating budget, what that would look like for this entity to be stood up, because she is very familiar with it. But I want to remind everyone that there are costs associated with administering funds, taking them in, putting them back out, annual filing with the IRS, because it has to be a 501c3 nonprofit entity. So just wanted to remind of those costs as well.
Yeah, Madam Chair, the case that I'm thinking of was one situation where the people of Northern Baltimore County had raised $46,000 to subsidize lunches, so the kids wouldn't have to pay the small fee for getting a reduced lunch. And the Education Foundation wanted to charge them 10% fee, $4,600 for that, which I thought was ridiculous. I think they may have a set 10% fee. I understand what you're saying, but I think that we just need to be cognizant of what the money is going to be used for, and let's not overwhelm groups with fees. And in the case where the Education Foundation, I thought it was just outrageous, 10% fee. So,
and my point, Councilmember Katz, is that Director Johnson, having stood up a program in Prince George's County in her experience at the national level with this same kind of model, I want to allay your concerns that you won't have to worry about that.
And Ms. Rogers, if I could follow on your comments, and I do appreciate them. The idea of a recreation and parks foundation, it's not a new concept. These
Correct.
have been established all over the country.
Absolutely.
And I do acknowledge the concern that there may be administrative costs. I get that. But if we look at the Police Foundation works in concert with the chief of police and his or her department. And there are administrative costs when the Police Foundation donates gym equipment to a precinct. There's administrative cost to deal with that because the chief needs to approve it, approve the donation, and it has to come before the council. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, Ms. Rogers, that's what you're talking about. But this foundation, at least the vision of a Rec and Parks Foundation for Baltimore County, this is a separate organization outside of Baltimore County government. It would be governed by a board, and hopefully, if things move the way that we would like them to, would have an executive director independent of Baltimore County, just supporting a Baltimore County agency. And because of that, our rec councils are governed by the Department of Rec and Parks, and we all have experience with our rec councils, there needs to be a due diligence in setting this foundation up so money can flow ethically, transparently to the community, hopefully through a large amount of corporate philanthropy. So that's the basics of this resolution, which is just let's figure out and let's express as a county government, let's express what the basics are in order to not set up a foundation for failure or for anything even worse than that, conflict of interest and all the legalities that the resolution charges the law office with helping to figure out. So I'm looking forward to the recommendations that come back come May, and I don't know, the administration, be aware of what you ask for, because we all have ideas on how this thing should come about. But in my conversations with Director Johnson and with the administration, it just seems like this is the first step, is let's get it right. So when it is set up, that it's an entity that can get up and running without any sort of cumbersome aspects of being in conflict with county law or with what rec councils are already doing, with the Department of Rec and Parks are already doing. So that's what the resolution is about.
And Councilmember Crandall, I fully support what you're saying. You and I are really saying the same thing, because it's something that operates outside of government. And it's not, I'm not talking about internal administrative costs. I'm talking about administrative costs associated with a foundation.
Right.
But we're saying the exact same thing. There's no problem on our behalf. Like I said, Director Johnson shared this actually as a part of her interview as a thought as well. That's why I know she's very excited about it. We're supportive of it. But I was just making the comment that it will take resources for a foundation to be stood up and to administer any funds.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Right. And Director Johnson was, when we spoke, she was very enthusiastic about the idea. And I think, Ms. Rogers, it just takes you about 50 words to express what I need to express, and I use like 1,000. So thank you for your brevity and clarity.
Absolutely.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Councilman.
Councilman Crandall and Councilman Katz bring up interesting points, as well as Ms. Rogers. And the police models is interesting because there's a police foundation, and then there are CR, community relations councils, for each police district. And so, for example, the police community relations councils are very active in fundraising and providing different things that that precincts need. So for example, Franklin Precinct, they purchased a couple of bicycles for the police officers to use in their for bike patrol. And I don't believe that there's any administrative fee through the Police Community Relations Council. I think that they just go out, volunteer their time, purchase. They have an approval process, and they also worked with the leadership of each, the commander of each precinct. But then they just go out and purchase it and deliver it to the precinct. And so I wonder if you model that, where you have, if you model the same functionality for rec councils and recreation centers and a rec foundation, it seems like there's a model in place with the CRCs on the police side, and I just wonder if that model works well. And it's kind of nice, I would say, for Franklin Precinct, for the Community Relations Council to purchase those bikes or whatever they need. Sometimes it's not exactly police equipment, but things for other things that police may want to do in the community. But that's done just through volunteer time and no cut, no piece of the action for administrative fee.
Councilman, I think that you bring up a good point. In all of our rec councils, in all of our regions that we all represent, the rec councils do their best to raise money, and God bless all of them, because and our PCRCs do as well. I think the vision for a Baltimore County Rec and Parks Foundation is not in competition with that, with those efforts, because those are mostly grassroots efforts. Those are program leaders. Those are the rec council presidents that are soliciting local businesses. But I think there's an opportunity that what I would hope that this would become, that we tap major corporation dollars to supplement the funding for rec councils and booster clubs, and we all have capital projects in our district. I'm looking at one now that may come to fruition that's really close. It's going to be $5 to $10 million in capital expenditures. This is where we can start to approach the concept of public-private partnerships. And I know each of you in your districts have projects that are close to you that you would like to see done, whether they be capital or equipment, improvements, maintenance, whatever it is to your recreation and parks facilities. And I think because there's not an easy mechanism for larger corporations that maybe a rec council president or a PCRC person not necessarily can get to, but the police foundation can get to, maybe the Rec and Parks Foundation, should it, and hopefully will come to fruition, they can tap those dollars of these major corporations in Baltimore County that already have corporate philanthropy budgets that would just love to set up a line item on their budget year to year. Say, yeah, we're going to give this foundation so many amount of dollars a year because we trust that, one, they're credible, and we trust how they're going to distribute the funding. So I think, and we all have ideas. I mean, we're part of the Baltimore County Council. We all have ideas. The point is, right now there is no mechanism, and the mechanism needs to be formulated in a way that has all of the I's dotted and the T's crossed in order to create something that corporate philanthropy will be comfortable in donating to. And as I said before, I think this is an opportunity to set up something that is lasting and meaningful that will exist in Baltimore County for a really, really long time and benefit millions of people.
Thank you, Mr. Crandall. Did we have a final vote after the amendment yet? I lost track.
Madam Chair,
No, we're looking for a motion and a second, Madam Chair.
There we go.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
we have a motion. Councilman,
Oh,
motion. Just need a second.
Second.
Did I motion it or did I second? Or I'll second if I didn't motion.
I'll second if Councilman Crandall didn't motion.
I don't know where we are. with
Y'all
it.
motion
I
and
motioned
nobody
it.
motioned, nobody seconds.
I motioned it.
Okay. Secretary, please call the roll on resolution 95-20 as amended.
thank you. Yes, Madam Chair. Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Katz,
Aye.
Mr. Jones.
Aye.
Very good. 95-20 as amended is passed. Before we next go into the next item, I'd like to say two things. First, I hope that none of the comments that were said about the Education Foundation are held against that foundation. They do wonderful work. Debbie Phelps lives and breathes that foundation. They opened a storefront on the avenue at White Marsh for teachers, for any teachers that need any supplies whatsoever. They can go right to the storefront. There's one on the west side and now one on the east side. And these are all private donations that are paying the rent and getting these types of supplies. And that's just the most, the latest, the latest that I know of that they're doing. They raise tens of, not hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they do an excellent job. And second, Miss, are you still with us? Wait a minute. Where did Miss, where are you at? Oh, she left. Okay. Oh, Stacy, I thought you had left. Stacy, I'm glad Ms. Johnson is very excited about the foundation. Maybe you can give her a call and get her excited about background checks.
We're excited, Madam Chair.
Oh, I know
We're
you.
going to do a briefing on where we are.
Okay, I've been waiting for a call from her, so
I
okay.
will do that. We cannot discuss it.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Madam Chair,
yes, Mr.
with
Crandall.
regard to the Education Foundation, I want to echo your comments. I asked them to look into something, and the response was immediate and positive. We aren't quite there yet on what we were talking about, but just very committed people, very committed board. Your comments are right.
Yeah, thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes, who's
this is
that?
Izzy. I didn't mean to, if in my comments were taking a shot at the Educational Foundation, that was not the intent.
No,
But
no,
I would like
Yeah.
each,
About their charge, their fee for that. I didn't want that to take away from the work that they do.
but
That's
there
all.
are individual schools that have their own foundation. So for example, the Carver Center has a Carver Foundation, and corporations donate money to the Carver Center. In fact, because these are things that we work on, when the Carver Center was built, it was built with a track and a soccer football field. In the value engineering, the school system decided that they wouldn't put bleachers in. So you would go to a game at the Carver Center and you would stand and watch, or you could bring your own chair. But it was a kind of minor leagueish, I would just say. So the Carver Foundation last year, through its good work, purchased bleachers for the field. And so I was distracted by some squirrels running on my porch. I was trying to see what animal that was. But in any case, you know, the foundation, the teachers and stakeholders for Carver thought it would be a good idea to have bleachers like most high schools do that have fields.
Right. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Let me see. Mr. Boswick. Next item, please. I think I still have my place.
Yes, Madam Chair. Next is Resolution 96-20, application Department of Housing and Community Development, Maryland Community Block Grant, CARES Act.
And I believe we have Mr. Hickey testifying this evening.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the council. Yes, I'm here.
Good evening.
Just to repeat briefly, I'm here to request approval of Resolution 9620 that endorses the county's application to the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development for up to $3 million in community development block grant funding to provide eviction prevention rental assistance payments to households impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. If successful, these funds are going to be layered into the county's ongoing eviction prevention efforts later this fall.
Thank you. Is there any questions from the members or comments from Mr. Hickey? All right, hearing none, is there a motion to approve Resolution 96-20? I'll move it. Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second.
Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 96-20.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Resolution 96-20 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next, Madam Chair, is Resolution 97-20. This is a resolution sponsored by Councilman Jones authorizing the property tax refund to Mr. Harold Williams, who as a disabled veteran is entitled to a refund under state law.
It's my honor and privilege to move the resolution.
And I'll second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 97-20.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Resolution 97-20 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is Resolution 98-20. This is a resolution sponsored by Councilman Marks to authorize the property tax refund to Mr. Andrew Smith Sr., who as a disabled veteran is entitled to a refund under state law.
It's my honor to move it.
Second.
Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 98-20.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Resolution 98-20 is passed. Next item, please.
Resolution 99-20 is a resolution sponsored by Councilman Jones to authorize the property tax refund to Mr. Maurice Travers, who as a disabled veteran is entitled to a refund under state law.
It's my honor and privilege to move the resolution.
I'll second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 99-20.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Resolution 99-20 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next, Madam Chair, is the council's consideration of the county executive's appointment to the Baltimore County Adult Public Guardianship Review Board of Dr. Babak Emanuel for confirmation.
Is there a motion to approve the appointment?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Okay. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the appointment.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Congratulations to the doctor. The appointment is confirmed. Resolution 100-20.
Yes, Madam Chair. Resolution 100-20 is sponsored by Councilman Patoka. This is a resolution to authorize the property tax refund to Mr. Conrad Ferrer, who as a disabled veteran is entitled to a refund under state law.
It is with honor that I move this motion forward.
I'll second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 100-20.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
Resolution 100-20 is passed. Next item, please.
Next is Resolution 101-20. This is a resolution sponsored by Councilman Marks to authorize the property tax refund to Mr. Alexander Eisenach, who as a disabled veteran is entitled to a refund under state law.
It's my honor to move it.
I'll second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 100.
101-20.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall, Mr.
Sorry,
Crandall,
was the mute. Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk.
Aye.
Resolution 101-20 is passed. Next item, please.
Next, Madam Chair, is Resolution 102-20. This is a resolution to approve the continuation of the state of emergency pursuant to the initial executive order number 2020-002. And this will be voted on at the next council meeting on October 5th with a work session on September 29th for introduction only this evening.
Okay, next.
And next is, finally, is Resolution 103-20. This is a resolution sponsored by Councilman Marks to amend the Perry Hall Community Plan for introduction only this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Secretary, is there any other further business to come before the council?
There is no further business, Madam Chair.
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
Hey, good evening.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Oh,
Have a good evening.
hey, you all were there James Benjamin, you didn't talk.